Hey everyone, welcome back to Apollo Art Analysis. In today's episode, we're going to be studying a piece by the photographer known as Dexstinesia. In today's episode, we are going to be exploring the unsettling and nostalgic degrees of the Dreamcore aesthetic. We're also going to explore the concept of color-based rarity, so let's just jump right into it. So at first sight, we see what appears to be a moment of discovery of this rather strange and even surreal portal here. Of course, its placement in center draws our eye within the work. We see this further reinforced by the way these two different arrows kind of converge, right? They create two implied lines which converge within the portal at hand. You may also notice, of course, the colors within this work, right? This is the idea of color-based rarity. Most of this work is quite dark, depressing, and drab, but within the composition, we have this colorful portal here. So that certainly creates a contrast and elevates it above all else and all of its surroundings. We'll talk a little bit more about this setting in just a second. Once again, you see these arrows, right? They converge within the work at hand. They create two sets of implied lines. That is pretty important to the work's visual experience here. I wanted to ask you guys, how do y'all feel when you first see this work, or what comes to mind when you're viewing this composition? You know, the setting of this work is quite strange, right? We appear to be in a warehouse or an abandoned building of some kind. It's hard to say exactly where we are, but regardless, it is quite dark, it is depressing, it is dirty, and that is in direct contrast to the rather blissful scene within, right? There's also this kind of haze within the composition, right? Within the portal, that creates a sense of the surreal, this sense of the ethereal, if you will, or the greater than life, and I think that's pretty important. In many ways, this portal is a memory vault. It is a memory vault into the memories of our childhood. That is also very important as well. You know, whenever you're a kid, everything is quite new, everything is novel, everything is exciting. You have this sense of curiosity, this sense of wonder and joy, and I think that picture within, especially that haze, really captures that quite well. You know, the Dreamcore aesthetic often incorporates this. What is the Dreamcore aesthetic? Well, it often uses elements of nostalgia, even some unsettling degrees as well. I have two works that I want to discuss here. I'm going to bring those in real quick and see what we can learn about the Dreamcore aesthetic. Alright, so I brought in two additional works here to really talk about the Dreamcore aesthetic. One is going to be from the artist KLA, and the other is from the artist known as Marco, or Marco 1D Liminal. And both these artists often incorporate the Dreamcore aesthetic, the vaporwave aesthetic. They even explore liminal spaces as well. And so the reason I brought these in to really talk about the sense of nostalgia and even the sense of the unsettling in the Dreamcore aesthetic. For example, the work on the right, you see that ball pit where we would often play in childhood. That is quite reminiscent of 90s and early 2000s culture. Of course, this isn't quite unsettling as the two works on the left here, but it does incorporate that sense of the nostalgia or those kind of childish colors, if you will. Going to the work on the left here by Marco, you see it is quite unsettling, and the element of nostalgia or the element of childhood are going to be these stuffed toys, right? These stuffed animals, and it is just absolutely terrifying. They just go off into the distance. This is certainly reminiscent of a nightmare or a dream of some kind or another. So the reason I brought both these works in is to talk about both the unsettling and the nostalgia degrees of the Dreamcore aesthetic that is so relevant to the original work we're studying today. So yeah, the Dreamcore aesthetic often incorporates senses of nostalgia, sense of the unsettling as well, and I think we see both these within the composition. Like I said, in many ways, this is a memory vault, and childhood is a time of wonder, joy, curiosity. It is a time of first impressions, and the memory of that now exists only far in our imagination, but you can really spark that, from a simple smell or a sound or even an old toy that you rediscover. You can bring those memories flooding back, and I think that's so important here. But in many ways, suburbia is quite sterile. It is quite protected. We smother and we kind of shield and hide away any dangers. So this could be kind of a false pretense, right? Whenever you grow up in suburbia, you could think that, everyone's perfect, everyone's nice, everyone's good, but the world is a very dark place. And I think the Dreamcore aesthetic kind of deals with that, a sense of growing up, that realization that not everything are, sunshine and rainbows. And I think the gray or the depressing atmosphere here certainly brings that in, right? The realities of adulthood, the realities of life, such as death, tragedy, despair, so many different things really incorporated within the Dreamcore aesthetic, and I think it does an amazing job of that. The Dreamcore aesthetic kind of came out of nowhere in many ways. It really found its rise in late 2021 with liminal spaces, and even further in 2022, and especially this year in 2023. So there are a lot of different artists who explore this, and I think the Dreamcore aesthetic will go down as much more important than people realize. But regardless, it is impossible to go back to those childhood memories. Quite literally, you can't go back in time. time, even though you wish you could. What we can do is reincorporate those things from our childhood, reincorporate those old video games we used to play, reincorporate those old books we used to read, and really to judge them as we are today. I think that's just so important. And of course, like I said, there is this sense of the memory within this composition. That's just so important. Always remember that you can go back to that. It just takes a little bit of time and imagination. Really hope y'all enjoyed today. The work before us was created using a original photograph and what appears to be a digital edit, right? The picture, the portal within here is certainly photoshopped or using some type of digital editing program using the original photograph of this setting here. Like I said, it's hard to say exactly where we are, but this is what we would consider a multimedia or mixed media piece due to the incorporation of multiple different mediums. That is photography and a digital editing program. But yeah, I really hope y'all enjoyed today. We talked about so many different things, from this sense of color-based rarity, drawing our eye within, further elevating the portal. We talked about the Dreamcore aesthetic, the sense of nostalgia within this composition, the unsettling degrees of the Dreamcore as well. So many different things we hit on today. I really hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all enjoyed, go check out the original artist Dexstinesia. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. I sure hope so. But regardless, really good artist, really good photographer, certainly dealing with liminal spaces in the Dreamcore aesthetic as a whole. But yeah, like I said, that's all I have for today. If y'all enjoyed, go check out the original artist Dexstinesia. My name's Apollo. This was Apollo Art Analysis, and I'll see y'all on the next episode. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to support our work directly, please check out our Apollo community tokens. Apollo Art Exchange is an ecosystem of art appreciation which elevates artists each and every day. Thanks for listening.